Okay, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. I got Brian Ryan, aka Xerjoff King, with me. What's up, man?
How's it going? How's it going, Darius?
I'm doing all
Well,
right.
yeah, long time no live stream. I mean, we've been keeping in touch often, but for a live stream, this is a long time since the last one. I don't know. It's been like since Memorial Day, right?
I believe, yeah,
Yeah,
I believe so. Yeah,
yeah. So it's
lots
been a few
happened between
months. I think there's a lot of things we could kind of talk about. A lot of things happened since then. Oh, first of all, congratulations on getting your certification for the. Yeah, I saw your last video last night. And
the two.
I'm really proud of you. And hopefully things go well with you. And I just hope that you keep getting going through progress this year and next year, and hopefully in a few good years you'll be like way up there. And I'm just going to be rooting for you and keep having success and keep trying to learn and getting those certs and whatever you have to do. I'm right behind you. So
I appreciate it, man. This is still not over with. I still got like three, three more certs to get.
really,
Um, yeah, it's just a lot. Ever since I got hired on with the new company that I work with, it's just like it's a never ending. It's been
okay.
a never ending process for like the ever since July. So yeah, it's
So
gonna work out though, 100%.
oh
Just
yeah, yeah. It'll work out. I mean, you make it whatever you make it, right? I mean, whatever.
100%.
Yes, the circumstances will always change, and there's always pros and cons to everything. Everything, whatever you get into, will always tell you the positive thing that they're in. Whenever you see somebody, they're going to be saying, "Oh yeah, this is the reason why I'm in here," but they're never going to tell you the negative thing. They will never. There's always a whole bunch of negative things to everything in life. So it's whether you give up or whether you go around it or how you go through it or how be flexible and change things up, it's all up to you. You are the one who makes it successful, and it's your perspective and it's your goal, it's your road. So yeah, anyway, I'm really proud of you. um what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so what is your current work is not associated with this, or are they related? So is your schedule still going to be kind of like, am I allowed to
It's
stay here Monday through Thursday and then having your Friday and Saturday off, or
yeah,
how?
no, I work now it's my schedule's like I work 4 10s and then I have Friday, Saturday, Sunday off.
Oh, you got the four
It's
tens. Okay, yeah, that's awesome.
yeah. So but lately it's been more like 12s.
Okay.
But it's still within the same line of work. So I still work on cars or I
Okay.
still work on trucks. And but it's just there's just things that you have to get to be able to drive the truck at least like on the streets.
Right.
Um,
At
but
least
y-
to try
it's
to, you have to try to get them to maneuver in the garage or the parking space, right? That's why you're getting a cert, right? You're to kind of.
well, no, it's mainly like if I got to go on like a service call
Oh,
or
okay, okay.
you know what I mean. If I have to tow the truck back,
Got it.
um, it's it's that like on this like on the actual freeway or highways or whatever like that. Like if you're in the yard, you can drive the truck around. You don't technically need
Yeah.
one, but in the event that you actually have to go out, which I've had to go out already and maneuver one back,
Right.
that's why. You know what I mean? Just for legal purposes and insurance purposes. It's
Got it.
you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm just
Mhm.
wiping down my sweat a little bit because it's my fault for delaying this to 8:30 or 8:40, but I was scrambling, so I'll be kind of sweating the first 10 or 20 minutes of this live stream, and then I'll settle down. But
Yeah.
cool. Um, glad to be on here again. I mean, like, hopefully we continue to do this. Um, so what's what's new on your end? I mean, what's in terms of fragrances? What have you been kind of like
Uh,
diving into this? Yeah.
I've been really I kind of been really diving into the house of uh, Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements.
Yeah, I've never.
It's like it's like a shaving company, but they
Yeah.
also make their own what's it called, aftershave colognes
Mm.
and fragrances, along with like shampoo pucks, razors and stuff. Obviously, I don't be shaving.
Yeah. Right.
I mean, I shaved it
Yeah.
yesterday. I shaved yesterday, but like I can't really grow a beard like that. So,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
just was interested in their fragrances just because I've heard some talk about them, and I just I've the ones I've tried so far, I mean, are really, really good. Give me
Yeah.
one second. See, Fragrance Journey '01. He's like, "Hello, bro. Hey, man, what's going on?
Hello.
Hopefully you're doing hopefully you're doing okay. Glad to see you on the live." Um, yeah, man. What time is it over there, man? I know you're in a different part of the world. So it's currently here in Vegas. It's like 8:47 a.m. But yeah, Phoenix Artisan Accoutrements. I've let's see what else. Roja, the Scandal, and
Yeah.
then
Mhm.
there was I picked up MY. I picked up a Portrayal Man from MY, and then
Mhm.
also
Mhm.
Silver Oud from
Yeah.
MY.
Yeah.
Uh, finally.
Yeah.
So, what
So
about on your
before, well, again, I'm kind of like into Xerjoff still, so I guess I'm the as you had stated, but um, I mean, it's not like it's just that's just where my focus is right now. So, um, yeah, I've been heavily into Xerjoff a little bit. I've been into Roja a few Rojas, particularly in their colognes, right? So I know you got um, your Scandal.
yeah?
Now, the Scandal is the one that I recommended you because it's the Fougere. I
Hmm.
have like the Danger. I mean, you got the same box here. This is the Danger. This is my favorite one actually out of all of the colognes. Um, the Danger. Uh, I love this one. I mean, this is my favorite one. I have Enigma as well and Vetiver.
Okay.
Um, the the Danger is it kind of Fougere. I think you would like this too. It's more in the line of a Fougere mixed with a kind of like a nighttime scent. So Scandal is very daytime oriented, right? It's kind of an office oriented scent, maybe. I would say it's very mature. I think it's very kind of it has like a little bit of a demure presence to it. Again, remember I told you in the previous live streams, though your presentation is very young, right? You got the dreadlocks and you're very young looking
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
tall and lean. But in terms of the aura that you try to present in terms of fragrance and in how you present yourself and how you talk and what the things that you're interested in and so forth is very older, right? So the polo
Mhm.
greens, the even the I'm not surprised that you wanted to pick up Portrayal Man. Portrayal Man being iris oriented and very kind of it's an office scent as well, right? It's a very mature leaning
I
fragrance.
think I think it could. I think it could be an office for. It's really. I think it's made for like high weather or like high heat. It works extremely well in the high heat, but
Okay.
it's a crazy projector, dude. Like at least I remember I was wearing it. The sample that I believe you
Yeah,
you
I
sent me a
don't.
sample of it, I
Yeah,
believe,
yeah, yeah.
and I was wearing that one, and when it was like 110 out, and it
Yeah.
flawless. It was awesome. But yeah, I like the older, I guess, smelling fragrances, like the more mature smelling stuff, just because I don't know what it is, dude.
No.
It's one of those things where I think it just smells so I like masculine stuff.
Yeah.
So in the instance where you said you like the Danger, you have the perfume cologne version, right?
Right. This is the cologne version. Yeah.
The cologne version. So have you tried the parfum version?
Yep. I tried the parfum version, and I used to have the Roja sets. So if you look on their website, they have the sample sets, and they're really cheap for some reason. They're really cheap. I'm not sure why they make them cheap because even though they're 2 mil uh, vials,
Yeah.
2 mils go a long way. I mean, you could for a heavy sprayer like you could use a 2 mil in maybe 1 or 2 days, right? But it
Hmm.
still gives you enough time to enough sample size to get a good judgment about the fragrance. For me, 2 mils will last me maybe even up to 3 weeks because you still get about 30 sprays from it,
Yeah.
and I'm testing maybe 2 or 3 sprays a day. So
Okay.
uh, there was the Danger parfums, there was the Enigma parfums included in those. I find the parfums very. I could see why they're the original. So they're the OGs, right? And then these came out later. These are a little bit more fresh. They're a little more kind of zingier. They're kind of if you open a can of soda or like
Hmm.
a Sprite on a
Yeah.
really hot day and it's been in the refrigerator for a long time and you crack it open, you got that fizziness kind of in your face a little bit. The
Yeah.
the clones kind of mimic that sort of a texture.
Okay.
So I guess for you, you won't have a good um comparison because you haven't tried Scandal Parfum. I think Scandal Parfum was in there, but I can remember is that all the OG parfums have a little bit of a toned downness of the fragrance. It's not fizzy. It's more on a powdery side. So because of its toned downness, it leans very, I guess, more unisex.
Okay.
Uh,
You think
it
it?
has
You think
very
it's more? You think it's more dense as
Yeah,
far as?
yeah, but it's not in a way of saying that because a lot of people get the misconception that the Parfum OG is the Parfum, which is dense, and then the cologne is just watered down or something like that. Oh, they just added more alcohol to it. People always say things like that, and I don't think that's the case. I understand like other kinds of brands out there. I'm just assuming, but for this, at least, it's not just that they added more alcohol to it and made it more fizzy. They did something different to it. I don't know what it is, but the concoction it veers to another direction. And Roja, he made it in a different kind of strategy to present something that is actually very masculine and is very kind of a more of an outgoing kind of fragrance, rather than the OGs, which are more geared towards elegant dressing up, wearing a tuxedo. Maybe I would say maybe you're visiting um, going to the opera or something like that. But these
Yeah.
are more on a casual basis. You could go to Disneyland with this on. You can go to the mall. You could go out with your friends and go out to the Las Vegas. I always say Las Vegas Strip because that's
Yeah.
whenever I think about you, I'm always thinking that you're next to the Las Vegas Strip for some reason, even though you're far away from it. But
Yeah. It's
so
far away from the strip.
yeah, you're very far away from it. But whenever I say Darius or Dr. Goo, I say, oh, well, Dr. Goo, just go next door and go to Neiman Marcus and sniff it and come right back and tell me how it is. But no, I remember you have no way to go to Neiman
I mean,
Marcus.
I do go to Neiman Marcus sometimes, but like, dude,
Right.
just
Yeah.
just to go down to the strip, especially right now, because
Yeah.
we're about to have
Yeah.
the F1 race.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Uh, it's it's dude, it's so bad. Like the traffic is just so bad.
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah.
We got famous YouTuber says howdy. What's up, man? Uh, I believe you just sent me a comment talking about the DPF or the DEF system. You got a deleted you got that deleted on your 2500 the RAM. Uh, I'm gonna reply to that. Just give me some time. I got you. Then Zach Naguki, probably butchered the name, but he says, "Hey all, a little off topic, but thoughts on Naxos." So this would be a great question for you. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, because I I haven't smelled Naxos.
Okay. You haven't smelled matches. Okay. Oh, by the way, for the when we go back to part Roja, I brought some samples. These are the official
Carded.
Roja samples, right? They're
Okay.
not the carded, but they're really well made. I mean, like this, they were really cheap. I don't know. I think they made a mistake on when I purchased them. Because they quickly adjusted the price back to double the price, but these were like I don't know, $10 a pop or something like that.
$10 a
Yeah.
pop. Yeah,
Huh?
they did.
Yeah.
They
This
were
is
$10 each.
yeah, this is 7.5 mil. It's huge. This is Enigma. I mean I have a few of these, and then I was gonna probably remember I was gonna ship you some samples.
Oh, okay.
I'll
Okay.
include one of these for you. So this one here is a Enigma cologne. Oh, sorry, I keep going the reverse way, but anyway, I'm gonna be. That's why I brought this out. But and we'll return to this topic later. But going to yeah, Xerjoff. So yeah, Naxos is from the 1861 line. Okay, so have you tried any of the 1861? Do you know Renaissance or there? So there's Renaissance Dacus and there's Naxos and then there's also Zafiro. Okay, so out of the four, my favorite is actually Zafiro. So I brought a representative from the 1861 line. So this is how kind of like what Naxos would look like. Is this kind of adjusting?
Yeah. It's like
Okay.
the kind of frosted glass a little
Yeah,
bit.
just my camera is not the best. I mean, I know how some people do this, and then it's not adjusting. Anyway, it's yeah. Anyway, this is here, and it's a representative of the 1861 line, which represents the Italian coast or the Italian kind of the um, coastal regions in and around that area, that country, right?
Okay.
So Zafiro represents a certain city. Dacus, actually not Dacus. Naxos represents another city like Sicily. Milan is Milan an Italian city? So Milan is represented by um, Renaissance or something like that, right? So
Mhm.
I'm not really sure. You could look it up on Google. It'll explain everything. But it does a good job of representing locales. It does a good job of representing locales. So Zafiro is my favorite because it has a very posh, the hotel lobby kind of a present scent. It smells like a actually it smells like if you're in a hotel in Italy, like in the coastline area. You walk in, everything is there's nothing modern. It's very kind of old school, but very clean and very elegant, very well kept. Um, it's a very nice fragrance, but to a lot of people, this is not their favorite because of the fact that it doesn't smell like a cologne. It doesn't smell like it's something you should put onto yourself, but more of
Like a
a house.
room. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay.
it's an amazing one that I actually prefer this one over all of them because I guess since I have so many Xerjoff, I like a line that represents that kind of art, right? If this was my only Xerjoff, I would probably not like it as well
Okay.
because if that was my only one, because I would want something that is a versatile fragrance. So going back to Naxos, Naxos actually is the only one from the 1861 line that is very versatile.
Okay.
It's very easygoing. It's very wearable. It has a good sweetness to it. There is a lavender driven backbone to it. So I think you will like it because of the fact that you're kind of lavender driven fragrance focused, right? So you're fougere focused. And a lot of them are in terms of the DNA, there has to be a lavender as part of the triumvirate, right? Of fougere, I guess. So Naxos is more of a kind of a fougere, but it's very soft because there's a lot of kind of not sugar and I think the honey aspect kind of really softens it.
Okay.
So in terms of the wearing, it's not a wearing it's not a fragrance that I would say particularly is okay for school. I mean not school, but like work, right? Yeah, I would wear Scandal to work.
Okay.
But Naxos is more for kind of like a party time, I guess, meeting of friends. It's a daytime scent. I guess people keep exaggerating on videos saying that it is a tobacco and honey scent. It is not.
That's what I keep hearing.
Yeah,
I
you
tried
hear that all. Yeah,
to
you just hear that all the time. And I understand the old versions of the reviews back 3 years ago, 4 years ago when you read them or you listened to them. Okay, I understand maybe the formulation was a little bit more sweet and more tobacco focused. But people these days, unless they're having a like a 4 year vintage Naxos bottle, I mean not vintage, but 4 year old, but maybe in macerated. But the newer ones, I mean, this is not Naxos, but The new ones that came out in the last couple of years, they're a little bit lighter on the tobacco, a little bit
Okay.
lighter on the honey, but the lavender is more amped up.
Okay.
So I would say in the genre of tobacco honey scents, like pure Havana, pure Havana is known
Yeah.
for that, right? And you got the tobacco vanille from Tom Ford. Um, Naxos is really not in that genre anymore. I would say Naxos is more in is stepping its toe into the lavender fougere genre a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in that sense, I would find Naxos not as playful, but a little bit more mature. But still, I wouldn't wear it to work. I would wear it for kind of friendly outings,
Hmm.
social outings. But if you wear it, I guess people will be very drawn to you. It's a very friendly and a very appealing scent, but it's at the same time has a more mature sense about it rather than a pure Havana or something like that. That's my opinion. So
So,
I'm
so
sure there's
do you think that do you think Naxos, like, what is it really sweet? Does it get too sweet? What time of year do you think
okay.
it's good
Yeah.
for?
So that's a good question. So in terms of like your location, I wouldn't really particularly bring out Naxos at any time of the season of in Las Vegas, other than winter, right? So you're
Yeah.
going out to the casinos or the hotels at night, and it's like a good 60 degrees,
Are we
55
talking about
degrees.
we
Yeah,
talking about wintertime?
yeah, wintertime,
Because in the winter, dude, like if
yeah,
there's
yeah. Because the way it is, the Naxos to me, the scent profile to me is very I don't know if you've ever smelled some fragrances that have the note of cashmere in it, because
yeah.
cashmere has a very hazy, sort of a fuzzy cotton-like scent profile
Hmm.
texture that when I wear too much of it, even in mild weather, I could kind of get sick of it. Like, so if I'm in the car, I need to roll down the window and let fresh air come in because the cashmere and kind of gives me a little bit of a headache.
Okay.
So because it's too soft. There's nothing. Cashmere is the total opposite of like vetiver, which is really biting and very crisp, right?
Mm.
So I need something crisp in my food when everything's too soft and too mushy. You sometimes need to add some onion in there, right? So I would say Naxos is in that line. If I wear too many sprays, but you're gonna wear three or four, five, six sprays, I would put two sprays, right?
Yeah.
And Naxos, I will kind of get a little bit not turned off, but bored of it. If it's all day, all night, like if I spray 8 in the morning and I have still Naxos on me at 8 at night, because some people like 8 to 12 hours of longevity, I wouldn't like that. I would scrub it off because I'm okay. This is good enough for Naxos. Around 3 p.m., I want to scrub it up and put something crisp. So I would put Scandal on myself because, for example, because it counters the haziness of and the kind of roundness of Naxos. Okay, so
Okay.
that's just my opinion again. But to
Hey
each
man.
their own. Yeah, your mileage
Thank-
worth there.
So Zach, you said no worries about pronunciation. I hope that answered your question, man. Thanks, Brian. Also, we have another question. Alonzo Robinson. They say, I hear no one talks about Symphorium. Is that a Naxos? Or I'm sorry, is that a Xerjoff fragrance or
Oh, I can't even see what is it called? I can't
um,
even see the text. You have to pronounce it, or can you spell it out for me?
Symphorium?
Oh,
I
it's
think.
okay. You mean Symphonia?
Yeah,
Is it
Symphonium. There you
Symphonia?
go.
S-Y. I kind of see it. It's like Symphonium, right? So
Yeah.
That's from the Xerjoff 17-17 line. So it's the premier line, or according to not according to anybody, they don't really represent it on the Xerjoff website as the premier line, but to me, it's kind of like their premier line because in terms of the retail prices, the 1717 line has the most jacked up prices. Okay, so they only have about seven um, fragrances in that line. So one of them is Symphonium. Symphonium is very unisex. Okay, so it's a fragrance that is, I think, one of the best. Um, I guess it's like a milk chocolate type of a gourmand fragrance. It's very gourmandy. It's
Okay.
very sweet, but it's not like a sickly sweeter. It is well blended. It's an
Okay.
excellent flavor. If you're a gourmand fan, I would say Symphonium could be one of your let's say if you have 100 gourmands in your collection and you're just a gourmand freak, I would say Symphonium would be your in your top 10 best gourmands in the history of up to now. We never know in the future, but up to now, in the modern era, not going back before 1980 or anything like that, the 1990s through now, past 30 years, Symphonium would be considered for a gourmand person top 10 or maybe even top 5. I put it up there as well because I'm a big gourmand fan. I'm not a big gourmandy, but
Yeah.
I do appreciate to have gourmands in my wardrobe. And Symphonia, I'm really proud to have Symphonium. It's a great fragrance to have as a collector from the perspective of a gourmand person.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Alonzo Robinson, I hope that answered your question. Thank you, Brian. Again, like I said, guys, Brian is the Xerjoff god. He knows everything about Xerjoff. So if you guys have any questions about
Let's
Xerjoff, we got
let's
the
just
guy,
say he's a king, right?
the Xerjoff king. That's right. Broken Fiddle says,
But
"Good
that's what
morning."
you said. I didn't say it. Okay, I'm telling everybody. I didn't
Oh
say it.
yeah, yeah. I
It's not.
said
It's
it,
not
but
self-proclaimed. Okay, it's you said that.
I said it, but it's facts.
Okay.
Broken Fiddle says, "Good morning, all. Recently, I have been gifted a decant of Rosa Elysium and have been enjoying it very much." So, Brian, in your opinion, how is Elysium? Because
Lithium.
I really haven't tried Elysium either.
Okay. So Elysium. Now, I don't want to. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer for for this guest of ours, respected guest of ours who has Elysium. I really appreciate that you're here on our live stream. I'm, you know, I want to give you my humble opinion, factual opinion, right? So I want to respect you by giving you my humble factual opinion. I first of all, I'm glad you enjoy Elysium. Everybody enjoys. A lot of people enjoy Elysium. Elysium is a very versatile and wearable and friendly and a very outgoing. It's a great fragrance to just grab and go and do whatever you want with it. You could go to the baseball field with it. You could go to the picnic. You could go anywhere with Elysium. And if somebody were to own 10 bottles of Elysium, and I've seen people do that, I would totally understand. Now, for the scent profile, Elysium out of the colognes that they made, even the Elysium parfum, I'm not a very particular fan of the scent profile because to me it's very, again, I kind of brought this up in the past. It's a very safe leaning fragrance. The blend is very, I guess Roja did it intentionally to make Elysium. I'm not sure if Elysium was one of the first that he has made on the men's side, or I'm not too well versed in Roja. Sorry if anybody can correct me, and I'm just ignorant about history of fragrance. I'm not the best representative to talk about what designers' intentions are. But to me, it seems like Elysium was created intentionally to be safe for uh, a crowd or younger people who wants to come into this house of Roja. Okay, so Roja has very expensive fragrances. Okay, we don't have any of those because they're in the thousands, right? You got a bottle of $1,000 or whatever, 1,100. That's crazy. So initially, I think that's kind of like what his genre is an unreachable fragrance house, right? It's kind of like Hermes, right? Nobody walks into Hermes looking to, oh, I'm at Hermes. I'm gonna go buy something. I'll be right outside. Don't mind me. I'm gonna buy a $500 handkerchief, right? Nobody does that. So because Roja is such a marketing genius, he wants to, and this is not a big deal. Everybody does it. He wants to reach out to the younger crowd because he realized there's a big fragcom community out there. And tell me, when was Elysium created? The OG, I don't know, maybe 2012 or if you look it up in Fragrantica, I'm sure it's a kind of a recent creation.
I
He
think
made
so.
the OG or maybe the parfum recently to attract the younger crowd. And me being 50 years old, I'm not very attracted to Elysium. It's not a bottle that I would get, but yeah, that's just my opinion. I like Elysium. if somebody gifted me a Elysium bottle, I would totally appreciate it. I would really love to have a bottle of Elysium, but I would never go out of my way to get a bottle of Elysium. But let's say there's a really crazy deal on it, right? Like you found a great deal on Scandal, you
Yeah,
know. Let's say even a better deal, right? It's just you just can't. It'll be silly
definitely.
not to get it. Yeah, if it's like something like you gotta get it, right? But yeah, they're never gonna do that for Roja. But uh, who knows? Yeah, I might get I might change my opinion about it, because our opinions always change year by year, right?
That's right.
And you revisit the last year, and I find some of those things boring now that I thought was awesome last year, So
Mhm. Well, Broken Fiddles, I hope that, I know you didn't answer the question, but, thanks, Brian, for giving us your,
yeah,
opinions. Alright, we got another question for you,
yeah,
Brian.
yeah. I apologize. He wasn't asking a question on Elysium, but I forced an opinion on top of him.
No,
I'm sorry, but yeah,
no, you're good.
enjoy your Elysium. I'm sorry.
Alonzo Robinson asks, he says, "What's the best luxurious Xerjoff oud?" I know you want to talk about this, so go
Most
ahead.
luxurious.
Oud from Xerjoff.
Oh, reserve of oud, right? So from the oud stars. Okay,
Mhm.
so that's a good question because there is a line of oud that I have never tried from Xerjoff. So one of them is called the Xerjoff oud. What is it called? Something oud. It's like they're in these little bottles. They're different shaped.
Oh,
If you look at
Atars?
yeah, they're like kind of like attars. I think they're oils or something like that, but they're not called attars. They're actually called something something, and they come in these different shaped vials and stuff like that. I don't know any of that. I never tried any. I'm just kind of like in the main line, regular, regular bottle, Xerjoffs like this, or the Casa Morates like this, right? These are the Casa Morates, and I love this Casa Morate. By the way, this is my absolute one of my favorites from this line. It's kind of, I guess people think this is feminine, but it's very unisex. It's very, I don't know. It's got a lot of dynamicness in this fragrance. I could talk about it later, but
Okay.
oud stars. That's where I'm at. I actually there's so many good ones there. Remember, I told you the most underrated one is Malaysia, right? Or
Yeah.
Malesia, Malaysia, and nobody talks about it on YouTube. Um, I did talk about that in the first. There's a second live stream. Amazing fragrance, um, killer fragrance. It's it's not very oudy. I don't mind if it's oud, but Malaysia is part of the Oud Stars line, which can be worn by anybody. My brother, who, I don't know, but let's say he doesn't like oud, he could wear it. But it's the Oud Stars line. So if you're talking about what's my favorite in the Oud Stars line, I would just say Malaysia. But if you're talking about what's the best oudy fragrance, I'm not really sure. I would say Alcott is one of my favorite oud scents. The Alcott. So Alkhat,
Okay.
ATT, I think. Alcott is very challenging. It's a typical um it's not a rose oud, it's a jasmine oud. I think it's jasmine. So
Huh.
there's some floral in there, and it's not a rose-driven oud, and it's not a saffron-driven oud. Because if you look at Middle Eastern ouds, they kind of combine it with rose or saffron, or the
Yeah.
both of them together. And I'm very kind of tired of the rose oud kind of thing. I don't know if you smelled MFK's satin oud.
What's that
That's a
food?
yeah, oud satin oud. You got to go try it because that is a de facto representation of a Western style marketed rose oud. Okay,
Okay.
rose oud, saffron oud. Okay, so there's a lot of saffron in that too. I think it's a pleasant fragrance, but you could get quickly bored of it. At least for me. If you wanted to make it a signature, it's definitely a signature. For me, signature doesn't mean that you enjoy it all the time. I could have a signature bottle. I could be
Mhm.
bored of it. I could be bored of it, just like I could be bored of a belt or a shirt that I have, but that shirt or the belt, it complements me the most if I'm trying to do an everyday presentation for myself at work or if I go
Yeah.
meet people. I just wear that belt or I wore those eyeglasses, but I may be bored of it. It's not like I enjoy it, but it represents me the best. So that's what a signature is for me. So
Okay.
oud satin mood is kind of like a de facto rose oud Western style that can be used as a signature for a lot of people, women and men. This is a very famous and well talked about rose oud in America. Is so uh, oud satin mood from MFK.
Mm.
So if you're talking about something like that, um, Xerjoff has a few, but Alcat is a little bit of a twist. Is not rose or saffron. It's jasmine and oud, and there's
Okay.
another white flower in there. So when you spray it, there's a lot of funk that comes off of it. If you're smelling it like this, it's
Yeah.
kind of pu.
Dirty a little bit.
Oh, not dirty. I wouldn't say it smells like dirt. I just say it's kind of a smell of a fresh. If you walk into a farm area and you just early in the morning, you just kind of walk in the certain areas, you could smell that fresh, whatever that smell is, that
Yeah.
funkiness. That's the kind of emission you get from it.
Okay.
But that's not only coming from the oud. What I like about it is that that funkiness is not only coming from oud in Alcott, but it's also coming from the indoles from that. That fragrance, I think, is trying to depict the indoles. And I think I went over that in my other. I'm
I think
talking too
so.
much, man. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. We got a lot of questions for you
Yeah.
over here,
This
Brian,
is,
because
this is,
they're interested.
I really didn't want to make this a question and answer lineup kind of a thing. I wanted this to be a discussion between you and me about what we had experienced in the last few months, but it's
It's
quickly
all
ending up
good,
that
dude.
way. You direct it the way you want it, okay? But anyway, the indoles. Remember what like certain white flowers, they have a certain kind of a indolic chemical, or like there's some things inside white flowers when they make a absolute out of it, or uh, uh, an oil, essential oil. Indoles are chemicals that kind of produce some sort of a weird and musty, kind of an animalic smell that a lot of people don't like up close. But when you kind of have it diffused through the air, there's a different kind of a presentation of that white floral scent. It's very luxurious, and I think only mature noses are able to discern that. Younger people who only, let's say, I'm just making an example. If you're college and you like macaroni cheese and you like pizza, and then you start eating caviar, and then you say, oh, caviar, if you kind of depict caviar in your mouth, like in little descriptions, right? What's the texture of caviar? "Oh, it's a little bit gritty or something. And what's the flavor? It's very briny.
Yeah.
Then in those terms, if you break it down into components, it's not a great food. But as a whole,
Yeah, paired with something.
yeah, well, pair with something, but also as a whole, the experience you get at the end of the day after eating caviar, as a discerning taste bud, you enjoy caviar. Why? We don't know why, but it's just enjoyable. You just say, I enjoy caviar. So in the sense of indoles, it's as a component by itself is not a very pleasing scent, but in terms of combinations with other things, it produces a very, very kind of a elegant scent. And
Okay.
Alcott is a very head turning kind of a fragrance. It's very head turning because one, you'll get people who are discerning and they'll turn their head like, oh, that's a very unique scent. This is amazing. And then you'll get the other people who are head turning like, oh, what's that? I don't, it's a little stinky.
Hmm.
But it's not that you're stinky. It's just they don't have a high vocabulary as to how to discern things, right? They only
Yeah.
know black and white. So if they see the color blue, oh, that's black. That's a kind of a really low kind of a example. But if
Yeah.
something's
No.
off white, yeah, if there's something's cream or mother of pearl, some people will
Mm.
just say it's white because they don't know how to define it. So they'll say you're stinky, but it's not really stinky. They don't know how to articulate what they're thinking when actually it might be a a positive thing in their mind. So anyway, Alcott is a thing that I would really recommend, but it's challenging. If you're really seasoned in oud, Alcott will be right up your alley. But if you're just trying to explore oud for a little bit, don't go into Alcott. I would go into oud sat mood, MFK.
Something more safe.
Yeah, safer, and it's actually wearable. Oud sat mood, you can wear it every day. Uh, but a lot of women wear oud sat mood, right?
Yeah.
I've had
Okay.
them.
So Alonzo Robinson, I hope that answered your question. I know you got another question in the bank. So hey Brian, you want to answer another question?
It's up to you. This is your live stream, man. I'm here as a
Hey,
guest, and
hey
I
man,
appreciate.
you got so much information on Xerjoff that it's insane. So if you're
Yeah,
up for another question about Xerjoff,
yeah.
man,
I don't mind. Yeah, if I can answer, I can answer. I mean, if it's not something I can answer, I'll just say I don't know, man.
all right.
That.
So Matt Richardson says, any thoughts on Xerjoff Casamorty line,
Oh yeah,
especially Fiero and 1888?
if you're on ATA, okay, all right, cool, good question. So is he a guy or is he a gal? I can't see. What
I think it's
is
a
he?
guy.
Okay, okay. If you're a guy, I appreciate you're on this. I appreciate everybody who's on this live stream. I mean, remember the past live streams we had like one person on there, right? We had Nebu Hero. He's like moderating, and he would say something. You're like, "Hey, let's answer a comment," and then Nebu Hero goes, "What's this wrench?" And you go, "Oh, because you're a moderator," and then we'll continue our conversation. But Nebu Hero, I mean, is he on there? I hope he's around. But I'd love to do a again, let him know. Hey, Nebu, if you're out there, let's do I won't talk as much. I'll just kind of be in the back end. I love listening to Neighbor Arrow's stories. He's got a lot of good stories.
He does.
He,
He
yeah.
disappeared, man. So I don't know where he's at. I have
Okay.
no.
He disappeared. Yeah. We sometimes disappear. And, I disappear a little bit for a bit. And, you and I, we had our ups and downs and stuff like that too. But that all kind of makes us to be a stronger bond or relationship, right? So that's good. Nebu Hero, if he's out there, I'd love to see hear more of his stories. He's got a lot of historical stories because fragrances go back a long time for him, right? Back in the 80s, right? I don't have fragrance stories. All my stories are just like in the past 2 years. So it's nothing interesting in terms of that. But Nebu Hero can talk his he could talk his ass off about all the stories that he's been collecting in his head. We want to kind of dive into that a little bit more. So Nebu Hero, I know. Don't worry. He has his aspects. I have my aspects. We could do a really great, rich live stream. It may end up being 4 hours long, but anyway, right? Because his his was huge, right? It was 2.5 hours, like a Star Wars movie, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So, um, and you know what? I go back to that. I watched Nebu Hero's live stream 3 times, because it was just kind of interesting. I just kind of skip around to the parts that I like to listen to. But anyway, going back to Casa Moradi line, Xerjoff, as a guy, I wouldn't say, well, yeah, there's a few that are masculine leaning. Okay, so here's the masculine leaning ones. Like we got the Casa Moradi. Coincidentally, I have one right in front of me. This is the Mephisto, right? So this is the OG Mephisto. They have the Mephisto Gentilomo. It's kind of mellowed out a little bit with the addition of some florals in there. Not a. I like that one too. This one is more kind of. It's more Italian, I think. It's more simple, but it's people compare this to Silver Mountain or from Creed.
From
There's
Creed,
there's Silver Mountain. I forgot what it's called again.
Silver
But
Mountain, right?
Silver Mountain, what was that?
Water.
Oh yeah. You're right. They call their. That's one thing about Creed I don't like is they call things water and there's stuff like royal water. I was like, that gives me the imagery that they're just adding water to their fragrances. That's why I don't like it sometimes. But anyway, there's a lot of Creed fragrances, Creed fans out there. I don't want to piss them off or anything, but yeah, Creed's great. Silver Mountain Water is compared to Mephisto. If you like Creed, Silver Mountain Water, if you like any kind of the genre of Creed, Silver Mephisto is right up your alley. You can enjoy this. This has a very Italian style to it. I can't really tell you what it is, but the ingredients are it's not completely similar to Silver Mountain. Silver Mountain smells a little bit more, I guess to me, more department store smelling. I think I'm very biased because every time I smell Silver Mountain water, it's because I'm in a Nordstrom. I'm inside a Bloomingdale's. That's the only place where I smell Creed. So whenever I have an imagery of Creed, I think of department store, right? But this one smells. It leans off to old school Italian.
Okay.
It's a great one to get. It's very masculine. This one's masculine to me too, but I'm not sure what your style is. If you're able to pull off something that's unisex, I would really suggest getting the Dolce Amalfi. Dolce Amalfi. If there's one Casa Morati I would keep is this one, but that's just my opinion. In terms of 1888, that's a really good one. I would suggest get it. It's a masculine one. I have a review on Fragrantica on the 1888. It really talks about my specific opinions about 1888. Look it up. Just go to Fragrantica, go to the database, type in 1888, pull up Casa Morati 1888. Oh, they're all 1888s, right? So make sure you get the original brown 1888, because these are all called 1888 Dolce Amalfi, 1888 Mephisto. And then look up the review. It should be one of the most recent ones. I put it in the last couple of months. It'll say Bryan Ryan, and then just read my review. It's like a 10-paragraph review on it. And I'm just talking about how I like 1888. It's a very, to me, it's like a puppy dog, like a Labrador Retriever dog. 1888 smells like a friendly, complimentary dog friend that goes around with you to wherever you want to go. It's not going to get compliments as terms of getting compliments directed towards you, but it's a friendly. It's kind of like a me only kind of a scent. I don't know. The review depicts it better. And then the other one that he was talking about, 1888 and Fiero, right? Fiero is the green bottle. The opening is amazing, right? So the first 10 minutes is spectacular. It's a spectacular fragrance. But let me just say, the the longevity. I'm not a big longevity fan or a projection fan. But this one is so disappointing. I At least the one that I have. So Fiero, I wouldn't get it. So anyway, I got my Fiero bottle a year ago, last year, um, a year and a half ago, and that one. So I don't know what they did with the most recent ones. Maybe it's better, but I read the reviews. There's nobody talking about the projection issues. Maybe this is my bottle, but the projection and the longevity, bam, it's gone. After 10 minutes, all you smell is like some musk, because the musk is asphyxiative in the Fiero, and the musk doesn't smell anything crisp or citrusy. The Fiero is supposed to be very citrusy and crisp, and it's amazing opening, but the musk is just a plain musk, and I don't like it. I haven't touched that in a year and a half, so I wouldn't buy a Fiero. But 1888, do it. But 1888 is good if you have a big collection. If you're only looking for 2 or 3 fragrances to have as your signature, don't get
I'll do it.
1888. Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. So Matt Richardson, I hope that answered your question, man. Thanks, Brian. We got another question, man. Or Alonzo Robinson says, "Thanks much for taking the time to give your insight. Very much appreciated." Um, Sephorium is said to be one of Xerjoff's best chocolate and orange well blended fragrance. So thanks, Brian. Appreciate that. And then Zach says, Sammy, let's see, Sammy Andreas Fragrance has Blue Sapphire, which is their inspiration of Elysium Parfum. I love that stuff, straight fire. You should definitely check it out. That has more of a fougere smell to it. So I guess we're gonna have to check that one out. Thanks,
Yeah.
Zach. And Spielman, he says, "Hey, about Roja colognes again. The Parfum colognes are changed in a way to have more of a sparkling opening, but in the long run, the Parfums are way better in terms of awesome dry down and depth." So that's kind of what you were talking about, Brian, with the as far as like the Parfums colognes. I guess they're a more fresher version, like they're like a cologne, but got the longevity of a parfum, but they're just not as uh, they don't have a lot of character, I guess. More,
No, character is not. Yeah, there's no issue with character. I think both sets, the OG sets and then the cologne sets, they both had their character. Um,
okay.
there's nothing non-characteristic about them. But in terms of projection and longevity, um, you know, again, I'm going off of my sample sizes, my sample size from the sample sets that I got, and it may be true. I mean, I'm not saying I'm not going to be disagreeing or agreeing with him. I'm just going to say that based on my experience with the the OG parfums that I was given in terms of Elysium, in terms of Enigma. Oh, by the way, yeah, I have a few more that I didn't use. I'm gonna put those in the package and I send them to you. Right? Remember
Oh,
the
thanks, man.
yeah. I still haven't
Appreciate
had
it.
time to. Yeah, I've been so busy. So, but I have
So,
the group of things, the samples and I mean the leftover samples that I want to kind of send you, and that's one of them. So the yeah, so he's just making a comment. It's not like he's trying to ask a question, but since we're on the topic, I find that the OGs are to my nose, it's a little bit more elegant. Yeah, so there are in terms of I'll gladly take a OG, but in terms of like who do I prefer if I had a Creation E OG or a Creation E cologne? It's kind of like a leather jacket for one and a pea coat for the other. You got
okay.
your favorite pea coat, you got your favorite leather jacket. If you put them together, you're not going to say I like this more than that. It's just it depends on the situation. So and they both have character, right? The pea coat makes you look awesome in a certain situation. The leather jacket in other situations will make you look awesome. So I'm just going to leave it at that. That the OG parfums do have their way of depicting themselves on me. And the colognes I really enjoy at this time. Not only that, I really love their bottoms. I really love the coloring schemes, and that's one thing.
The
Um,
gradient on them
yeah, the
are
gradient on them. So here's one thing. Yeah, I am a I'm a big proponent on marketing. I am a big proponent of of presentation. I think that
okay.
goes a long way in terms of things like fragrance, right? In terms of things like car insurance, right? Because they say car insurance, if you're in California, Las Vegas, whatever, as long as you're getting 150,000 coverage here, 300,000 uninsured motorists, everybody's covered the same way. But what's the difference? The difference is not the, the money. The difference is in the customer service, right? So your
Yeah.
experience, what is your experience? Are they talking to you in a very professional manner? Hello? I had Mercury one time, and then I was trying to ask a question, and they couldn't answer. They're like, "Hello, is this Mercury?" Yeah. I have a question about my coverage because blah 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 blah. I don't know. I'll call you back. Okay, here's my phone number, and nobody called me back. It's like,
Oh,
yeah, it's
yeah.
like, well, what kind of, yeah. So, but now I have Geico, right? And Geico has high level of marketing. They're on the news all the time. They spend a lot of money on marketing, and people. This is another misconception I want to talk about, but we'll leave
Mhm.
that for later. But their marketing shows that they have a lot of impetus on customer service and presentation and how to have attracting customers, right? Geico, I have been with them for over 12, 13 years. I've had
Wow.
Geico for 15 years, I believe. I don't know when I started with them, 2006 or 2005. I never moved away from them. They're always on point. I call them, this is Geico. How can we help you? What is this about? This and this. And oh my God, Geico is just it's like a white glove treatment, at least for me, and I love that about Geico. I feel like there's a big brother car insurance person standing behind me, just like in the commercial, right? I feel like there is a get-go guy saying, Brian, we got your back. Who knows?
Mhm.
I mean, if you get into an accident and what's actually being paid out, we don't know, but at least you get that sense of security. It
Yeah.
may be false security, but at least what they're presenting is enjoyable for me, at least for the past 16 years, even though I haven't gone in an accident or anything like that. I enjoy Geico, right? That
Okay.
adds to the holistic life experience that you're having, right? Rather than knowing that Mercury's never going to call you back. Who knows what's going to happen if you get in a car accident? You feel
Yeah.
safe. You feel safer driving your car. You drive somewhere far to. If I meet you in Las Vegas, I drive to your house. I feel, oh, I'm covered. Geico's got my back. I could call them anywhere, and they'll respond back right away like that. And they
Yep.
do. They respond back. They call me back, leave a message. This is Kathy with Geico, just calling you back. This is what we're going to do for you. Please do this, this, and that. Brian, if you have any questions, give me a call back at my direct number, and I'll promptly answer you. They're like that. I love that kind of thing. So perfumes are the same way. If their presentation is Uomo, Salvatore Ferragamo, and they have the elegance of the man's in the beach,
Mhm.
the everything is done to the perfection in terms of marketing, right?
Yeah.
And you walk into their stores, their presentation is amazing. And so I don't know if you've ever been to a Ferragamo store.
I have.
Oh yeah, it's amazing boutique, and they have the best customer service there. They want to give you a cappuccino, and they want to give you a sparkling water. I love that kind of thing. So it tells me when they put that kind of emphasis on boxes and presentations, and people say, "Oh, I prefer that they put the money into the fragrance." They put all that money into the box and presentation. They wasted that money because the fragrance could have been $25 more better, right? You
Yeah.
don't know. I mean,
I
you're
mean,
not there.
it kind of go both ways though too, because like
Yeah,
sometimes
I,
I've smelled a fragrance where it's like the presentation is spot on, but the fragrance I'm
oh yeah,
just like,
yeah, yeah. And
mm,
I'm not making a blanket statement. I'm just saying in general, right? In general,
yeah,
there are those anomalies here and there, right?
yeah,
Well, in general, the more you pay in life, right? I mean, you get what you pay for, is what I'm saying,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So
yeah,
that kind of runs throughout the whole of life, as nobody's out there, trying to really cheat each other. It's not like, people are making a product, and there's a reason why that product's expensive, and it's not just water with scent in it. They do their due diligence to make a good product to you. And I understand people's different definitions of, again, I use the term your mileage may vary,
favorite
right?
tree.
Everybody has a slight skewed look or perspective of things. I'm more positive, right? I think it's because I've been around people who are very positive minded, and my wife included, and people I work with, and people who are successful. And I like you, Dr. Gu, you're very positive. So I'm drawn to that kind of thing. So my,
Well, hold on. I am very positive. Like I am also negative.
no,
All
I know
right, so
you're
I'm
negative.
not
Yeah. Because,
always
yeah,
positive.
no,
Um, so
no, well, yeah, yeah. I'm not saying, okay, that's another kind of a thing. Well, we could, again, I don't want to go too much into philosophy or anything like that, but
yeah,
people who are positive minded, they see
hmm
the sunshiny day when somebody else can see a gloomy day, or some trash in the field. They're looking at different things, but that usually kind of like the way social media depicts it in a very fallacious way is that the person who looks at the negative thing kind of thinks that the positive person is dumb, right? Oh, they can't see what I'm saying, but he sees a sunshiny day, so he must be stupid. But it's not true. They don't know the mindset of the person who's positive. He can see the same thing that the negative person's seeing, but he's not focusing on it. He's
hmm
he's but he's
he just has a different
intentionally
perspective.
focusing on, yeah, and that's a
Yeah.
stronger mindset. So
hmm
that's what I'm saying. You are positive not because you don't see the negatives. I'm not talking about what we're observing. I'm
Yeah.
talking about our outwardly tendencies to portray to ourselves and to other people.
Yeah.
So
So
I don't know
that's
what.
what you make of it, pretty much.
Yeah,
You could.
you are positive in that direction. You
Yeah.
have you have your intuitions. You
Yeah.
have your mindset. You have your suspicions about certain things, but you go about it in a judicious way, but still present a positive image about yourself and how you relate with other people.
hmm
Some people, they're just weak. They just allow that to destroy themselves to the point where they have a weak relationship with people all over them, because when they go about their day, their MO is all about the negativity, right? So when
hmm
you meet somebody, it's all about negativity. When they see somebody do this, they honk their horn like for 30 seconds straight. That's just their negative. They're just weak. They let their emotions run amok all over them. Any one of us can have power over these people because they think they're strong because I get to see all these that these other people can't see. No, everybody sees the same thing as you do, sir. You just let yourself be controlled by little tiny things. You know,
Yeah. No,
But anyway, that's you and me. We try to strive for something else. But anyway, I don't know why we're talking about that. But
oh no, you're good, man.
yeah,
It was no, you're good.
yeah.
Let's see here. Would you
But
go?
I
Would
just want
you?
to kind of wrap it up. So to me, presentation is a big thing. So right
Okay,
now, I guess I just like the fact that to me, I was talking about how the OG and the colognes, they're both characteristically fine for me. So if I had to choose one or the other, I choose the cologne bottles because these are just amazing and how they are in my. The OG bottles are great too. They look classic. They got the clear bottles with the emblem in the front,
great.
the sticker in the front, and the same kind of cap. But they're all 1.7 mils, and I like the 100 mils. The 100 mils is just kind of like what I you know
Yeah, that's a little bit better value wise.
And there's nothing wrong with the colognes. I don't know how long lasting because I don't have a good sample size of testing out the OGs. But the colognes like this Danger, it lasts a good 6 to 7 hours. And then your Scandal that lasts a good 5 to 6, 7 hours. At
Yeah,
least for me, the Creation A cologne, it lasts a good 6 to 7 hours. So I don't have an issue with that. I mean, you could tell me that the OG lasts 12 hours, but I really don't need that at that point because I'm going to bed and
yeah.
I'm going to
You
be
got to
taking
take
a
a
shower.
shower
Yeah,
regardless.
not just
Anyway,
it doesn't really mean anything to me. I'm not up till 2 in the morning, just you know.
wait
And
for it
I'm
to
not
fade
saying
off.
I'm not saying that he's doing that. I'm just saying in general,
Well,
like I just
yeah. Um, let's see. Alonzo Robinson says, he says, I also own a few fresh Xerjoffs, but also a lover of masculine animalics. Would you consider few of Xerjoff best fragrances? He says penny droppers, perhaps, in this category, minus the oud. So I don't know if he's asking,
okay. No,
if
I
he's
get
giving
it.
us,
Yeah,
yeah,
no
like, what?
non-oud, so
Yeah, not
non.
oud, but I don't know if it's in the Xerjoff category, if he just wants suggestions, for like masculine animalics.
Masculine. Okay, so animalic. So here's I have Dawn, right? So Dawn is very masculine. Okay, it's not a oud based at all. It's a floral woody scent, but it's got the note of gunpowder in it. So I'm not sure if you're interested in that. It smells like a mafia person, right? So you're a stereotypical mafia person. Now, of course, they don't smell like this. I'm sure they
Well,
smell
I think
in a
not
different way.
smoke.
But in my mind, right, a cartoon mafia guy smells like this, Don. Okay, so if you want to try that out, I would really recommend not getting this 100 mil because it'll never go away. You have to get a 30 mil of this because this one goes a long way. One or two sprays will go a long way. I mean, it's just and it's not very versatile. I don't ever reach for this, but it's gonna last. 30 mils is more than enough to last you 2 lifetimes in Dawn. Okay. Yeah. I could give you out 10. I'll want to give you some decants and I'll give you 10 million. And you won't use it.
Probably not. Probably
So
not.
yeah. The gunpowder note is very interesting, but it gets boring right away. It's like after about an hour, you're like, okay, I'm done with this Dawn. I guess if I was a henchman, I'm loading my gun and everything, and it takes me 6 hours to get prepared for a hit or something. I don't know, right? Then I will wear Dawn, and I'll be in the mood of preparing my gun. And so I don't know anything about preparing a gun. I never touched a gun in my life. So and another thing is, I would say,
We got to go shooting when you come down here.
okay, yeah. I just hope that I pointed the right direction. I mean, I mean, make sure that the barrel is actually pointing to the target, not at me or anything when I pull the trigger, right? So I just don't want to make a mistake, right? So I'm sure you'll help me make sure
Yeah, you won't do that.
yeah. Or if all that what I'm afraid that it's gonna become hot, and I go like this, and suddenly the bullet goes somewhere else. And I'm kind of afraid of those kind of things, I'm just
I
I don't
think we
want
could. I think you would enjoy a revolver because the shell casing doesn't get um, ejected. It stays in the cylinder until you hit it and ejects. But
But
yeah, I think you'll like it. I think you'll like it a lot.
but I do know for from because I watched a lot of movies, I like the revolver. It's more interesting to me. Like the ones with the shell coming out like that, and they hold the gun like this, you know,
You can
like
dump them
they
out.
stick
Yeah.
there like this. Yo, uh, I mean, that's kind of to me a Hollywood revolver. I like that. I mean, I would love to learn how to. I don't know. I'm not that I want to learn, but yeah, if I ever see you, yeah, let's do that. Yeah, let's go to
Yeah,
the
we will.
desert.
100%.
Yeah, we'll dig a hole there, and then we'll I don't know. I'm just kidding, but so in terms of just to answer his question, I don't want I don't want him to keep waiting because it seems like we keep going off into tangent,
That's so
and
good.
they're waiting for an answer. So Xerjoff that is masculine, that is probably more enjoyable, but a little bit animalic, but not oud and not Don. I would have to say, hmm. See, the thing about Xerjoff, overall, the house is the MO or the modus operandi of Xerjoff is very three things: floral, unisex, and artistic. So artistic meaning oud, artistic meaning animalic. There's some animalics there. Artistic meaning friendly, and a lot of it Italian style, Italian, the coast of Italian. So in terms of the house, you're not really going to get a real masculine, animalic, uh, everyday wearer. I would say not look into Xerjoff. Okay, so I can't really recommend Xerjoff for everybody. So it's Xerjoff is kind of that's why I'm thinking. So in terms of if you're wherever you're at in your fragrance collection, if you're a beginner or like a intermediate, I wouldn't suggest getting into Xerjoff yet. I would say for the person who's very seasoned in a collection of fragrances and he wants to dive into something more kind of avant-garde, yeah, then we start going to Xerjoff and I can start making recommendations. But if you're looking for just you know, so we got the Mephisto, right? Mephisto is very easy grabber and it's very masculine, but it's also unisex and also it's not animalic. And the ones that are animalic are usually containing a lot of oud, right? So they're in the oud stars line. I think the one that I would say is kind of animalic, but also manly, but also wearable, maybe on a signature worthy way, is Xerjoff Homme. So the 1717 line has a Homme, kind of leathery. It's kind of a Shibra, maybe. It's rich and it's very masculine. And it's because of the leather aspect, it's maybe can be depicted as animalic a little bit. So that one I would suggest looking into because the arm is a very high end, is a very elegant one. It's a very I think you'll be proud to say, hey, Xerjoff Arm is one of my go-tos for a signature on the weekend, right? So or even at the office, you is a signature if you're a boss, if you're a right hand man or something like that. You dress up to work and you're meeting clients and you're meeting people, customers and stuff like that, and you want a good kind of masculine presentation. You want a niche fragrance to do that, and something a little bit animalic but still presentable. Xerjoff is great. I think I could suggest
Well, thank you, Brian and Alonzo Robinson. I see you have two more comments in here, so we're gonna get to those in just a second. But I hope that answered your question here. Um, Antonio Hobson says, "Grand Rising, everybody." I think that means good morning. So good morning. Um, Alonzo Robinson comment. He said, "Just to be precise, sexual fragrances that smells a bit like sex but wearable."
okay.
So
So
I
yeah,
I mean, there is one from uh there's one from the House of Historias de Parfums.
yep.
That one's I think it's called 18 1840 Marquise de Sade. Um That one's good. I wouldn't necessarily say it smells like sex, but it is a little animalic. It is a little dirty, but it's a great fragrance. I mean, there is also another one. I think it's called Seminalis, by the house of Otto Palezzi. That one smells a little weird. I guess like maybe you could say it smells like sex, but it just depends on the people that are having sex. You know what I mean? It could be that's right. Yeah, 1740. My bad.
Okay.
It was 1740 because Antonio Hobson, he just commented. I saw his comment. Yeah, thank you for correcting me. But it is 1740 by Marquis de Sade. But what was I talking about? Seminalis by Otto Perezzi. That one is, I guess that one's supposed to smell like I think it's what semen. I think right. But then I'm not too sure. I know it sounds sus, but like there is another one that he came out with, Orto Perezi. It was they have a remember that new one? Gosh, I forget what the name is, but the cap it's like a phallus. It looks like a
Okay. I'm not
it's a
sure.
new one, but I'm not too sure either.
Mm.
I just saw a whole bunch of pictures of it a couple
Okay.
months ago when it came out, and
Yeah.
everyone was freaking out about it. But do you have Brian? Do you have any fragrances that kind of are a little dirty? Maybe can
Yeah. Yeah.
mimic the
Yeah. I mean,
you know
I could
the
answer
feel
that.
behind closed doors?
Yeah, I could answer that two ways. So, um, I guess in terms of something sexy, right? So sexy would be something that you wear as a kind of a banger, something sweet, something attractive to the opposite sex and stuff like that. So if you go to a place like Vegas, again, I always say Vegas because I love the place, right? And the Vegas
Go to
Strip
the
is like,
strip club, all right? You'll
yeah.
find
Well, no,
specific
I
smells
don't
for
go there, but like you're just walking out on the street, you're going from Harrah's to Planet Hollywood. You know that area, that little hub. It's
yeah,
electric. It's like there's so many
right.
corridors and people walking in many directions. There's lights everywhere and there's food everywhere. There's so much thing going on, and there's groups of people. It's a great place to just hang out. You're just like, well, I love being out here on a Saturday night. So if you're at a place like that, you got to cut through some of that stuff and you really attract somebody, right? So I wouldn't suggest anything from Xerjoff because Xerjoff basically is like, I'm kind of move away from that a little bit because Xerjoff is more on the avant-garde side and it's more for kind of like your own experience, personal experience, and so forth. And it's more on the elegant side. It's like it's a complementary fragrance to how you portray yourself in certain elegant situations, but not in a where you put on a banger. The banger kind of goes out and fills the room, and it precedes yourself. It's not a compliment to you. It's more of you as a marketing. You're a marketing source of a fragrance, right? So if I wear a big shirt that says Gucci across it, and somebody says, "Hey, I love your shirt because it's Gucci," you're a marketing person, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's something we all do. I'm marketing stuff that's coming from other places. But if you just have something that's a totally emblazoned, the hat has a baseball cap that has like LV on it, Louis Vuitton. And I love those hats. I want to get a baseball cap from Louis Vuitton. But they're like, hey, dude, I love that cap, that Louis Vuitton cap. It's not a compliment to you. It's a compliment to the product you're wearing. So if you're wearing a banger, and then you're out there and it's kind of preceding you and everybody's like, oh, what's that scent? And people come to the fragrantica, oh, I got complimented. All right, you get complimented, but I mean, what did you accomplish for yourself? I mean, you just kind of marketed the fragrance is a banger. So if you like that kind of thing where I guess the younger crowd is a little, I've been there too. They're a little bit more um, simple-minded, right? I'm not saying simple-minded in terms of a bad way. I'm just saying they haven't appreciated to the point of more discernment and different levels of thinking, right? Of what actual personal accomplishment achieves for attraction for a person, right? It's not about looks or anything. It's more if you're at my level, I mean, not level, age and life experience, attraction comes through many things. It comes through attitude. It comes through how somebody engages with you, focuses on things, teamwork. When you see somebody who's actually doing a lot of teamwork and thinking process, like, okay, I got to take care of this because it'll help this group of people without them being told. That's very attractive. It's not really about it's all about how do you have self-confidence, because self-confidence goes a long way, because then they start standing with better posture. They take care of themselves. They may not be a model looking, but you don't have to look like a supermodel. You could look like a average person, but still look very attractive because they have self-confidence. They take care of themselves, and the way they take care of themselves, that shows in terms of attraction from the opposite sex. So one of the things is, for me, if you just want a banger fragrance that is for a younger crowd, because they're not at that level, they're just looking at uh, how tall you are, and how pretty boy you are, or something like that, right? Or how funny you are, how great is it that you're able to make a joke, right? So some girls, they like that. If you make a cracking joke and everybody starts laughing, oh, I like that guy. He's so attractive. So if you have a banger fragrance, he's very attractive. So in that sense, I wouldn't recommend Xerjoff. I would recommend something like Side Effect, right? Initio. Initio is great at that kind of thing. So I would recommend Sexy, Side Effect. Get a bottle of Side Effect. Initio Blessed Baraka, Initio Oud for Greatness. But Oud for Greatness is kind of like on the side of Middle Eastern. Blessed Baraka is a little bit side of the Middle Eastern side. So if you're not looking at Oud, they don't have Oud, but it's kind of a Oud representation. Then don't go that way. I would say Side Effect. Side Effect has nothing Oudi in it, but it's a huge banger. Side Effect should be part of your arsenal on your belt for a young person going to Las Vegas. If you're part of the in crowd or a guy's night out, you better have Side Effect with you on your back pocket and spray Side Effect like 3 or 4 sprays. It's amazing. It's an amazing product. It will cut through. It will cut through the Las Vegas crowd, and the girls will the young girl crowd. They're like 18, 19, 20-year old. They'll be like, "Who's got that? Who's got that fragrance on? Let's go
You know,
find him." Yeah, you'll get that kind of thing. I don't know, maybe not, but
it's gonna cut
but
through all the smoke. It's gonna cut through
oh
all
yeah,
the
yeah, yeah,
weed
it will.
smoke and whatever else, the
Yeah.
sewer smell that's down there.
Yeah,
Uh,
and yeah, the sewer cell smells, and then the marijuana smells, and but you could definitely avoid those areas, right? If you're in the middle of Planet Hollywood or in the middle of Wynn
man,
Hotel,
you can't, dude. It's not. You can't
yeah,
anymore, dude. You'll
yeah,
smell it on the freeway when you're driving now. It's
oh
crazy.
yeah. I mean, the last time I've been there was last year, July 2022, and
Hmm.
it was already kind of bad on the streets, but that's because we were walking. But yeah, but yeah, I mean, maybe you're right. But when we were in places like the Wynn, and then like we were
Nice.
in like Resorts World and stuff like that, it's nice inside,
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah,
Yeah, it's really nice. So I'm talking about those places.
yeah.
And
High, the
you want,
high, the more luxurious kind
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
higher
And
end crowd.
yeah. And it's okay if they're a little bit more seedy, like the Planet Hollywoods and stuff. It's still a great place to hang out. I still recommend going out there just for the electric vibe,
Yep.
because the Resorts World and Wynn can get a little boring for those who are younger. They're not going to hang out there. They're going to visit for like 10 minutes. They're like, okay, we've been here. Let's go to Planet Hollywood. Let's go to Cosmopolitan or somewhere where it's
Popping.
kicking and happening, right? So yeah, those places are the place you want to go. And if you go there, you smell a lot of crowds walking by. You'll smell the Aqua de Chios. You'll smell the Savage kind of thing, and then this and that, but the side effect will really cut through all that and it will turn heads. So that kind of thing, yes. But in terms of the other side of it, so there's that sexy, right? But if you want something that smells like the carnal, the actual act of it, right? So I would suggest looking into something that is elegant would be Frederick Mall's Musk Ravageur.
That one's
The
another
yeah,
good one.
yeah, it's a good one. It's very polarizing because this it's a woody, sweet kind of a scent, but it's got a lot of components in it, which where makes it very unpleasing to some people, but pleasing to other people. And it's actually a kind of a body skin oriented kind of a fragrance. Uh, I think that's a good one to test. Go out to Nordstrom, try Musk Ravager, spray a few of it underneath your shirt, and then just walk around and see how it seems to you. I think another thing that's a little bit more kind of crass would be uh, Itat. De Libre Orange, or what's that brand? ETAT, right? The ELDOL, whatever the acronym is, right?
Eldo. We just say Eldo.
Aldo, yeah, Aldo. So Aldo has the Secretions de Magnifique, right? That one,
Yeah, that one's good.
bring that in, and then that's completely right there. I mean, just take that in,
Wrong with
dude.
it. See,
It's a horrible fragrance, but I think in terms of certain situations, maybe it'd be ideal, but it's a horrible scent. Yeah.
so Alonzo Robinson. Hopefully that answered your question. I know you have one. I know you have another question in here, and then I think we'll wrap it up.
Okay.
Um,
Yeah. I
and
wanted to go into our thing between.
it's all good. Man. Hey, dude, we'll,
Yeah.
we'll do
Next,
that.
next time. Yeah.
We'll do
Yeah.
that the next time we go live.
Okay. All right.
But let's see here. So Zach says, "Thanks for your time, guys. Everyone hit the like button. That's right. Smash that like button for my guy Bryan over here. He's has been answering all your guys' questions.
I
That's
don't
why you
mind
need
it. Yeah. Yeah. I have
crazy."
fun answering. Yeah. Yeah. So,
hmm Antonio Hobson says the parfum is so much deeper and richer. Both are good. Parfum is more dressed up, and the cologne is every day. I think
yeah.
that he was talking about uh the Rosa fragrances.
Yeah.
And then Alonzo Robinson says, in case any of you are wondering, I am a rough guy, ex-military, and love hardcore daring fragrances.
Okay.
So I
Cool.
actually want to answer this one for you, and then you can, Bryan, you can also
Okay.
give your thoughts on a hardcore and daring fragrance. So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
there's a fragrance by Hiram Green. It's called Hyde. That's Birch Tar City with some. I believe there is some. I think there's Elemi in there, and then there's also maybe just a tad bit of sweetness, but super smoky. Try that
Okay.
one. That one's super daring. There's another one called Wham, WAM, by the House of Mallow. Uh, Extremely smoky, crazy. Smells like you're uh, at a campfire.
Mm,
And
I like those.
there's another one by Eldo. It's called Ren Intense
Yeah.
Incense.
Yeah. Mhm.
That one's extremely daring,
Yeah. I
very
heard that
dirty,
one too. Yeah.
very dirty.
It's a hyped one, kind of. Yeah. I haven't smelled it, but I want to try that one out. If you
If
could
if
get
I
that
still
one. Yeah.
if I still had a bottle of it, I would
Yeah.
send you a sample of it because I
Okay.
used to own that one.
Oh,
I actually plan on getting it back in my collection because it is super daring.
okay.
Let's see what other one? Just crazy daring fragrances. I think that's all off the top of my
Yeah.
head. What are your suggestions?
So I'll try to answer in different ways. So maybe he's asking, maybe he's ex-military, but he still enjoys fragrances, but daring and challenging and aggressive. Meaning it could be two ways where you're going into the direction of like these are just completely out there. Like it may be something that is just daring in of itself, right? So it's like a supermodel plastering herself with red paint, and saying, "Hey, I'm daring," but that's not really practical, right? You're not going to go to work with a red paint splattered all over yourself. But in terms of daring, but you still go to work dressed up and hey, it's showing that I'm ex-military, but I this is my style. I go to work, people see them ex-military, but I'm still presentable. But it's a challenging look that other people won't replicate because they're not in that genre of ex-military, right? So in terms of presentation that is acceptable, this is what I wanted you to get. Remember, is I'm
Yeah,
glad these questions are coming up. So, uh, uh, is that coming up, or did it show you
yeah,
Ladonna Nero?
yeah, Lodando Nero.
I hate my camera. Anyway, so Ladonna Nero, this is pretty cheap. So the tester bottles, again, I told you, if you ever see one come out, the testers are damn cheap for 100 mil. You don't need the presentation for Tiziana Terenzi because the presentation boxes on these are nothing great. And plus, this bottle's nothing really. This will fall down if I don't. It's there's nothing great about this bottle, so I'm not really too much of a fan of Tiziana Terenzi's square rectangular bottles. But the Ladano Nero, if you're familiar with Tom Ford's Absolute Amber Absolute, it's a discontinued um, private blend, and Tobacco Oud. Okay, Tobacco Oud is a fragrance I love. So Tobacco Oud is very challenging, and it's just bam, it's one of the ones that I first got into that kind of made me dive into niche tobacco oud. I never smelled anything like it. It's very great. A lot of people are put off by it, maybe. It's polarizing, but it's well made. It's it's got a little dirtiness to it, but it's got a lot of cigarette, not cigarette, kind of tobacco. It's got the earthy tones in it. It's got the amber. It's an amazing fragrance. It's a smoky fragrance, and it's very masculine. I could see an ex-military wearing tobacco oud. If you could get a decant, I would suggest tobacco oud. This is in the line of tobacco oud. There's a little bit more things going on in it. This actually is, I would say, more enjoyable, and it's cheaper. Tobacco oud is hard to get. Tobacco oud is kind of pricey now, so I have a decant of it. But if you want to get a 50 mil, you're gonna have to pay up the nose for tobacco oud. This for 100 mil, you only pay whatever that tester bottle is. It's really cheap. Maybe the price of a half a Acqua di Gio. Acqua di Gio, you have to pay twice for this, okay, at the Macy's. So this one, I really suggest trying it out. Get it. Ladano Nero. It's got some leather in it. It's got some clove, I think, in it. It's got some tobacco, smoke, ash, incense. It's got a whole cacophony of notes. If you look on Fragrantica on Ladano Nero, it's huge. It's got like 50 different notes in there. And sometimes you see that Fragrantica description of the fragrance, you're like, this doesn't make sense. I don't smell all that. But for Ladano Nero, I believe it.
Dude.
It does smell like whatever they show on that page. I wasn't surprised because this is what that I've been touting about this a lot to you. Remember, I've been texting you to every day almost. Hey, you got to get this. You got to. So this is now it's not very challenging anymore because I'm so used to this, that it's kind of like let on a narrow, you know. But that's because if you had a pit bull, you buy yourself a pit bull, you're like, oh, this is a challenging dog. But after 1 year, hey, that's my pit bull dog, it's not a big deal anymore. But to other people, it may be a big deal. But anyway, that's my suggestion.
Well, thank you, Brian and Alonzo Robinson. I hope that answered your question. Thank you for asking the
Yeah,
questions. Good guys. You guys have been asking great questions.
yeah, I've been shocked. Shocked.
Antonio Hobson was talking about when I had mentioned the 1740 Marquise de Sade,
Yeah,
and he says it's
I got to try
fantastic.
that out. Yeah, I haven't tried any of the histories of Parfum. They got
It's
some great looking bottles though.
they do.
Their 10 mil bottles, the 10 mil bottles sample set, they're really amazing looking. They got the history, apart from the history on the side of it, the way they label it and the way it's shaped. I
Yeah,
want to, I
I'll
wish I could get
I'll,
those.
I'll send you a sample of the 1740.
Yeah.
I'll send you 10 mil because I have 100. I think they come in 120 ml. So I'll send
Oh,
you.
yeah,
I'll
just,
send you 10
yeah,
mil.
just give me a half a mil. I mean, like even the black Afghano, you gave me too much. You gave me what, 2 mils of it? So
Uh,
I've only used like 3 sprays of it, and it's still sitting there. So I don't want you to go through the hat. You just give me like 10 pumps. It's just that would be what, a 1 mil, right?
I guess.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Sure.
yeah, that's all because for Black Afghana, I got so many things that smell like it. They got the
Mhm.
Xerjoff Leilani. So that's a good one. So if you want Black Afghano, yeah, I suggest to him for the ex-military guy. Black Afghano is a good
It's. I
Duro.
think. Yeah.
Duro.
Duro. Yeah. Duro's a good one too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Ex-military guy, good Duro.
Duro's leather.
Yeah,
That's leather central right there.
yeah. That's masculine, challenging. That's gonna be, dude.
That's
Don't
gonna be
mess with
probably right up
me.
your alley.
Yeah, it's right up your alley. Don't mess with me. I'm a jujitsu black belt. I'll smile at
Master.
you, but don't be trying to uh, troll me or anything because I'm ex-military. I don't know how ex-military you guys are, but Duro and Black
Duro.
Afghan will be right up your alley. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So IIGUBV. He says, I just bought Casamorti 1888. And he also says, I just blind bought Lyra and Italica for her. And dude, when are you going to come out with a fragrance review? I think you were talking about you were going to come out with, uh, you were thinking about doing a fragrance review. You should actually come out with one, man, because I'd be seeing your posts. you'd be posting on the community and stuff like that.
You're
Be
talking about
interesting for your thoughts. Oh no, no. Well,
is it
yeah, I
me?
mean, Brian, you should come out with a review too, but
Oh,
for Imitable, Invincible, Grand Ultimate Beige Villain, uh, yeah, he should make a video because that would be very interesting. You also should make a video too, Brian. That would be interesting.
yeah.
I think you have a lot to say about, especially Xerjoff, and I think people would
Yeah.
love to hear your thoughts on it because you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. I mean, I get pleasure just talking about it on Fragrantica. So if you want to see me talk about it, and you'll just log into Fragrantica, you'll see me there. I mean,
Okay. We'll make sure to get. I'll make sure to get your Fragrantica information. I have it, but like I'll post it
yeah.
in the
It's just
description.
Brian Ryan. Yeah, Brian Ryan's my handle in Fragrantica. So yeah.
I'll get a link. I'll get a link, and then I'll post it, if that's okay with you, on the in the description of this video, and then
Yeah.
that way, they
Yeah,
the
sure.
people can click on it, so it'd be easier, and just go right to your profile with all your reviews and stuff like that.
Right.
I'll put mine too. So, um, uh, he says he's gonna make something tomorrow. So, uh, I'm definitely gonna keep an eye out for the video. I have all my notifications on for you, dude. So, just whenever you post it, man, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah.
And he says thank you. And I think we're gonna wrap it up there, guys. So,
Yeah.
um,
But can you talk a little about your silver oud? I mean, I was kind of curious
oh
about that,
yeah, that's
man.
right.
Come on, show that bottle, and then
Let me talk about Silver Oud real quick because I
yeah,
did a first impressions of it.
yeah.
Um,
That's slamming right there. I like that. I love that.
Silver Oud,
I love that bottle.
it's yeah. I mean, it's kind of like this matte,
Yeah, yeah.
like a matte gray or a matte black.
It's really
Um,
different.
yeah, it's insane. Like the smell, guys. It's one of those fragrances where there's got to be real oud in there because
Okay.
it just smells that.
Yeah.
I mean, it smells that good. And I don't know if you guys remember, I did a first impressions. It was from the house. I think it was called the House of Oud. And I think it was the house. It was crop 2023 from the House of Oud. And I remember
Yeah, I
because I did.
remember that bit. Yeah, I remember
I
that video.
remember how I said it was like mint
Yeah, yeah,
chocolate
yeah,
chip
yeah.
ice cream
Yeah,
with
yeah.
oud.
It's
That
green
oud,
bottle. Yeah.
yeah, that oud that's in Silver Oud by Amouage, it smells identical, and I
Okay.
know that in the House of Crop 2023 by the House of Oud or something, I know they use real oud in it, and the oud in Silver Oud smells a lot like that
Okay.
one and that. So I got that comparison there, but man, this stuff is such a beast. Like
Amazing.
it lasts forever. I did like one spray when I first got the bottle in,
Hmm.
and on my hand, and I could smell it. Like I could smell a lot, and also I get some sort of leather in Silver Oud too. And the leather almost reminds me of the leather that's in Cuconum by Otto Perezzi,
Yeah.
where it's just like that. There's the animalic, just in the projection on it's crazy. Just
Okay.
like you could just pick it up. You can just smell it. It's almost to the point where it almost projects too much, where it
Wow.
will give you almost a headache. Just because that's all you can smell, and that's from one spray on the back of my hand.
Yeah.
Um, I love it though. I don't. I will say it's like it's Overture Man is still my favorite from the House of Amouage. I just that
Okay.
Overture Man just
Yeah.
it's one of those fragrances where it's just so good. It's just so good, and I can't wait to
Yeah.
wear it in the upcoming couple weeks because it's gonna get cold out. But
Yeah.
man, Silver Oud it comes close, but you
I'm
can't
close.
really
Okay.
compare Silver Oud to Overture Man. They're just
Yeah,
two
because
complete
I remember
fragrances.
a month ago when you, or a few weeks ago when you told me about it, and then you said that you may think that it's same as Overture. I was concerned because I was a little bit concerned. I mean, I wanted Overture Man to be still your top, but now you settle down, and then now you're rethinking it and thinking Overture is still their best, right? That's good. I'm glad to hear that.
yeah, so that's all I have to really say about
Yeah.
silver oud. Like
Okay.
I still have to wear it a lot more. I've only
Okay.
technically only wore it like twice.
All right.
Um,
Okay.
and when I first got the bottle in, and then of course when I did my first impressions. Um, but I'm definitely going to be wearing the hell out of it in a couple of weeks
Okay.
when it gets colder outside. So, but he says, let's see here. He says maybe a live going through my small collection. Yeah, you should. You could either do that, or you could do that and do a video. That would be cool. And then
Yeah.
he says, "Later, gents, our food is here." Yeah, I'm about to go eat too in
Okay.
just a couple minutes, and then Alexa
Okay.
or Alonzo Robinson says, "I was afraid you guys may have thought I'm a freak, so." He had to throw that in there, but great
Go
job.
for it.
Thanks for the education. I can now revamp some of my orders. Love the channel. You guys take care and be safe. You as well. Thank
Yeah.
you for
You too.
watching. And
Yeah.
thank you, Brian, man. Like, you answered all the questions in great detail, dude. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just kind of
it's
wondering, concerned why he thinks we thought he was a freak. What did he say earlier that I don't remember who said what, but what?
because he said he wanted he said that he says he owns a few fresh Xerjoffs, but also a lover of masculine animalics.
No,
He
no,
says,
nothing. That's regular fry
oh,
combat to me.
let me see here. He says
I mean, we all got
maybe
our
it was
kids. Yeah.
maybe it was about the comment that he said any fragrances that smell like sex or that are
Oh yeah,
sexual.
yeah. I mean
So
that's all like that's all common ground with fragcom. I mean
yeah,
that's another genre of discussion in fragcom. It's just human nature. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, he's just being
yeah,
honest.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You good, man?
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Well, yeah, Brian. You got anything else to add before we end it?
Yeah, I could add another 3 hours for 3 or 4 hours, but we'll cut it short. I don't want to. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for having me on here again. Again, if I had a more of a like a time frame to get ready for your live stream, I could have gotten more of my collection out of here. But it's kind of hard to get this all ordered out here and settled. But
It is.
I just try to rush through and grab whatever I can to put on here. But fortunately, I did get the ones that were kind of relevant to the topics that were at hand. So have a good rest of your day today. Appreciate all the people that commented. This is great that a lot of people came in. I mean, I don't know if it was just the same three people who kept commenting, but maybe there
Uh,
were 10 or
there's
something. I don't know. I think okay, there were a lot so that's good. That's like a unprecedented number of commenters. So that's good for us, and I hope that continues for the future. And let's try to see if we could do another one. Whenever we have time. The
yeah, a
holidays
couple
are
weeks.
coming up. Yeah, a couple
That's right.
weeks from that. As you know, Saturdays are usually kind of like the open days for me.
Yeah,
And I know you are kind of be Friday, Saturdays are as well.
yeah,
And we're both busy, right? We both got our two jobs, so it's
yeah.
hard to coincide and coordinate something because we're always working. So anyway, I had a lot of fun just talking by myself.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks for coming on here. Obviously, stay on
Yeah.
after I end it, and then we'll just talk for a little bit. And
Okay.
yeah, so thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the comments and stuff, and catch you guys in another live in a couple of weeks. So, all right, see you guys. Thanks, Brian. Am I ending it?